Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful central Illinois. And today we have a seemingly simple question from Dragoquan, and that is, if we worship the gods of our ancestors, will that bring us closer to them? And I say that this is a seemingly simple question because in fact it's nothing of the sort. It's actually very complex. And the first part of that complexity lies with what ancestors are we speaking of? Are we talking about our ancestors as individuals or as a group? Are we talking about them in ethnic terms? What do you mean by ancestors? If you come from a very formal family which counts its ancestry in a very narrow line from father to son or mother to daughter, well then you might be talking about a very narrow group of people. However, for most people, they regard their ancestors as everyone they're descended from, and this is a tree that expands exponentially. If, for example, you're of European descent, I guarantee you have ancestors from every country in Europe, the Mediterranean and probably North Africa too, and maybe farther afield, unless your family were extraordinarily isolated, in which case you're probably watching this in the same valley they've lived in for centuries, because if you're not in that valley, you've intermixed. There are no pure races running around. Therefore, if you're trying to look at it ethnically, it really is an oxymoron. Your ancestors expand far beyond whatever your immediate national identification may be. So just because your family lived in Germany for centuries, that doesn't mean all your ancestors are German. Just because they lived in Britain for centuries doesn't mean all your ancestors are British. Because both of these areas were touched by the Roman Empire, which means Mediterranean and North African influences are also there. So if you're asking about ancestors at that level, you have a really wide range of deities that were theirs. Now, if you're asking about individuals who are closer to you, it's a whole other question. And one of the things I would say to that is that when we talk about communing with our ancestors, we're not talking about being like them as they were in life, but rather with communing with them in spirit as they are now. And you'll often find that ancestors in spirit have broadened their point of view and changed their point of view based upon their experiences in spirit. So what they believed in life isn't always going to be relevant to who they are as ancestors. And what you want to find out is where they are now, not where they were then. And these are some of the reasons this is actually a very complicated question. And I hope it gives you something to think about, and until next time, may you blessed be.